Hey everybody, today I want to share a little bit about the worth of a human being, the infinite worth of a human being. In Genesis chapter 1, the creation story, we see the picture of God creating everything in heaven and earth. And then we stop in verse 26 where he's created the whole world and he says it's good, but then he says this phrase. He said, let us, this is what God says, let us make man in our image. So the Trinity is having a conversation. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit said, let us make man in our image. We as human beings are a reflection of the very image of the uncreated God of the universe. He created man, scooped him out of the dirt and out of the clay, molded our bodies, and breathed his very life, the life of his spirit, the ruach of his spirit, into the human being and gave us the capacity to think, feel, interact, reproduce, and have intimate connection and honor with him and with each other. So this is how we are created, to receive love, to be loved, to enjoy God, to be reigning and ruling over the earth. And when sin entered into the world, the image of man became quickly perverted from the place of shame when Adam and Eve's eyes were open and then they ran away from God instead of to God. And that in and of itself is the essence of where people begin to feel unworthy. It's a place of shame, smothered in years of abuse and generational lies and families, and nobody's ever been told their worth or their value, and the world lives without an understanding of who God the Father is. And at best case, they might have had some Bible teachings that gave them some sort of practical idea that there's a God somewhere out there. But that God somewhere out there wants you to know today that you are so worthy and you are so loved no matter where you're at in your life today. And the only thing that he desires is for you to come into the knowledge of him and to come into the experience of him and to leave the other things you're holding on to and the lifestyle that you think is going to make you happy. And he wants to give you true eternal joy on the inside of your heart. And that is when our eyes get open to how worthy and beautiful we are in his image and in his sight, and live the way he planned for us to live. And he made that possible when Jesus came and died for us and raised us to the newness of life and gave us the ability to live in this life, a life of honor, a life of love, where we know we're accepted, where we know we're beautiful, and we begin to live like it. See, poor and bad man-made religion has a high view of God and a low view of man. So God is holy and exalted, but man's kind of weak and decrepit. And we got to kind of grovel before him in order. We sing songs like, I'm so unworthy, as the famous song goes, but still you love me. This kind of thinking is horrible. Imagine God singing, you're so unworthy, but still I love you. That's not how he thinks. He thinks, I created you in love. I see you out in your shame and sin, and I long for you to return to me. There's nothing unworthy about you. Yeah, we received a free gift of righteousness in Jesus Christ, and in essence, nobody deserved that, but it's out of the good pleasure of his good, perfect will, Ephesians 1, that his plan was to include all of us and to accept all of us into his family in the person of Jesus Christ. And so when we come into this revelation, Jesus said, let it be on earth as it is in heaven. So just like it is in heaven, there's no orphan in heaven who sits around the table of God the Father and says, man, I'm so unworthy, but still you love me. No, God, everybody there feels loved and accepted and honored and cherished. They don't have to fight for their positions. They're not trying to climb a ladder of acceptance inside of an organization. It's family that honor one another for who they are in the Father. And he's established our worth, that we're loved, that he loved us so much that he included us in his family, that he died for us, that he sent his son to come after us, and that when we come home to receive his love, he says, forget about how you used to be in your past and come and receive my love and let me speak to you about who you really are. You're royalty. You're a prince. You're a princess in my kingdom. I created you to reign and rule over all of creation with me. Get away with the old ways of living and any perverse thinking and the old foolish talking and all these things that we hear in the letters and the epistles. Is saying, man, that's not who you are. You're destined for so much more, to live holy, to live pure, to live in relationship, open and intimate, without having to be afraid anymore. And this is who the Father is, and he says you're worth it. He says you're worthy and you're cherished. So just revel in that today. Glory in that. Receive it. Walk around the house and just think about it. I love you guys. And looking forward to doing the next video. See you soon.